We hustle when we grind to get to where we're at. Our purpose we will find, so we gotta stay on track. Wasn't easy for no one, life is tough, we understand. No, you're the chosen one, this is all part of the plan.
It's all part of the plan and it's game time. Regardless of the struggle, man, we still grind. Always motivated, hustle, so we all rise. Minority Report, future bright, so we all shine. Let's go.
All I ever wanted was my dream. It's like you wanted ever what it seems. I want the life, you better hustle, hustle hard. You tell me I can do it, I go hard. And they gon' know I did it from the start. You want it all, you gotta hustle.
This is
The Minority Report
Movement.
The views, thoughts, and opinions on this podcast are solely ours and do not reflect the institutions and organizations we are affiliated with. Welcome to Episode 1, Networking. Please enjoy.
Welcome, everybody, to the Minority Report. We are 4 soon-to-be PAs, all with different backgrounds, attending different programs, and we all have different life experiences. And we're just trying to bring awareness to various issues that affect different students in their journeys to becoming healthcare providers and throughout their journey in medicine. All right, fellas, so without further ado, let's go ahead and introduce ourselves to the audience.
All right, so I'll start it off. I was born in Mexico and moved to North Carolina when I was about 4 years old. I've always been interested in medicine. I thought I wanted to go the medical school route, but I ended up getting interested in law school along the way, ended up working as a programmer, and finally discovered the PA profession at my programming job. So now I'm a second-year PA student, getting ready to graduate in July, hopefully, and am very interested in giving back and helping others get through those challenges that I faced as a Latino male.
Okay, that was good, Carlos. So I'm Carl, white coat black, shameless plug, I know. I'm not sure if you can tell by my accent, but born and raised in Philly, Philadelphia, home of the cheesesteaks and Rita's water ice. But I'm not a traditional, student, meaning I didn't go the traditional route, high school, and then 4 years of college. I was the first to go to school in my family and pretty much had to figure it out. I went to 6 different colleges, was in the military as a medic, and worked several jobs while in school, and just to get to where I'm at, and I still have ways to go. Currently, I'm a second/third year PA student at Drexel University in Philly.
All right, everybody. So my name is Aaron. I am a first-generation Cambodian American, second-generation PA. My dad's actually a PA as well, so that's my interesting fact right there. Hence the hashtag on all of my Instagrams, PA like pops. So my father and my mom, they both came here as refugees from Cambodia. Settled in Long Beach, and that's where I was raised most of my life. More to that later. I live in a different city currently, but currently attend a program down here in Southern California. And, for me, growing up as a Cambodian male in Long Beach, there's a stigma, there's a status quo where, Cambodian males don't pursue higher education, they typically join gangs or barely graduate from high school, this and that. And for me, I wanted to break that status quo and, find a way to give back and inspire people who come from my same background, people who come from, the same area as me, and just kind of show them that there's a way for you to change not only your life, but your family's trajectory in life as well. And, for me, trying to inspire minority students to reach their goals has been my biggest mission right now. And through everything I'm trying to do, again, trying to aspire to inspire everybody else.
All right, so I got a little bit of Carl and Aaron in me. My name is Sato. I'm a first-generation Japanese. I am still a Japanese citizen, so I'm not technically a Japanese American. I was born in Japan, moved to Virginia when I was 4 months. Moved to Ireland when I was 6, did all my elementary school in Ireland, and then came back to the States to live in San Diego when I was in 7th grade, and then pretty much stayed in SoCal all the way up until I got into PA school at Duke in North Carolina 2 years ago. Pretty much my parents didn't go to school here, I had an older sister, but we didn't really talk too much about school, so I kind of just bumbled through undergrad, graduated with a 2.6 GPA, applied to PA school 6 times. On the 6th time, I got in 3 weeks before PA school started, and I got here. My goal is just to try to help other people. So there's plenty of people that don't have guidance, kind of similar to what I did, kind of just bumble their way through school. And I don't want them to have similar experiences like I did, where you have to apply 6 times, 7 times before you get in, because chances are some people will give up before they get there. And I want to prevent people from having to give up on their dreams just because, the path may not be the smoothest always. So hopefully we as a group can help other people. And if we can help 1-2 people, not give up on their dreams, then I'll call it a success.
Certainly. There's so many topics that we are looking forward to addressing, and we are very excited to highlight all of these minority voices in healthcare and kind of give them a platform to shine light on their communities and reach those students who are looking to break in but are facing all of these challenges. But for the first episode, we will just start off on touching on 2 topics. The first one being the access barriers and struggles minorities face and that we have faced personally breaking into medicine. So with that being said, I'm going to have Carl talk a little bit about that
access
first.
to barriers and struggles, something I definitely can relate to. Being the first to go to school, I didn't really have a blueprint on how this route was going to turn out. And because of that, in addition to, I had traditional parents who didn't believe in student loans and things like that. So it took some convincing, but eventually they assisted with kind of co-signing, at least on my first year, while I was still a dependent student. And then that turned into something else, but that's another story. But my high school counselors, I don't think people understand, how big of a role they have in the path that we choose, I believe. But mine pretty much told me, get a trade. And early college counselors repeatedly asked me, like, are you sure this is what you want to do? And I'm like, yeah, this is what I want to do. So it kind of just made me go harder and kind of had to prove not only to them, but myself that essentially this is what I wanted. So that's pretty much it.
Thanks. Sato, care to touch on that a little more too?
For me, yeah. And I was fortunate enough to not have so many financial barriers growing up. My parents are pretty well off, so finances were never much of an issue until after I graduated from undergrad, when I tried to stand up more on my own 2 feet, try to pay for school, try to pay for the extra classes I had to take to raise my GPA, pay for application fees, all that kind of stuff. That's where the financial barrier came into play, because we're out there making $10, $11 an hour, and applying to PA school costs thousands of dollars each year. Having to fly to interviews. Not that I had any interviews the first 4 years, but there's still CASPA fees. Then you have supplemental fees. Then you need to do volunteering hours, so you're losing money for not being able to work. Then you have you got to take the GRE. That's more money. Coming up now, they have Casper. They got PA CAT. There's just a lot of different obstacles that are out there for people that really don't have the financial means to be able to apply to PA school. And it's really unfortunate, because finances should never be a limiting factor for why someone can't pursue their dreams.
Right. I think we can get into another episode, just dive deeper into the whole financial aspect of it, but just kind of very broad. What would you say is the average cost of applying to PA school?
$80K plus.
To
apply. Oh, I thought you meant the program.
To apply, yeah. The program, yeah.
Couple G's, yeah. I would say.
Yeah.
It's definitely something you have to prepare for. Like it's especially with if you hold up, I was gonna bring COVID into it and then lost the track. But yes, it's definitely something to prepare for. But anyway, Aaron, do you care to dive into some of the obstacles you faced?
Yeah, man. So, when I tell people my dad's a PA, they automatically seem like, oh, dude's route was super easy. His dad's a PA. He's following the same footsteps, but they don't know the backstory where I was raised by my mom. I visited my dad every so often. Our relationship wasn't always, strong until after my grandma passed away, after he moved down to the Long Beach area, after I started to attend college and stuff like that. So I got a taste of both worlds where, my dad's a PA, life is good, but my single mother was, living paycheck to paycheck trying to raise me and my little brother. So, I saw both sides of the spectrum. And then that kind of also parallels with applying to programs, right? So the first time I was applying, I didn't really have any friends going through the application cycle with me. Didn't have any real mentors, didn't have any guidance really. And, when my dad applied, he applied to one program. It was like $30 for an application, and it was like a paper application versus now, got to send all your transcripts, got to send letters of rec, got to enter everything into CASPA. And obviously the cost is way more expensive as well. So, he was out of touch with applying to PA school. And so the first time I applied, I, again, didn't have any guidance, didn't have any mentors. Second time around though, I surrounded myself with PA students who I met through Instagram or social media or locally, PAs also that were practicing in the area that I connected with. One of my mentors who will for sure have on one of our episodes in the future, just being able to connect with like-minded individuals or people who are familiar with the process, who can help me navigate through CASPA. I thought that was a day and night difference. And, it showed going from 0 interviews my first cycle to 4 interviews and getting into my top program. And so it really motivated me to realize, like, I have a story, I have a platform, I have a voice to be able to help these students also navigate, because that is a barrier, not having a mentor, not having somebody to really go through this process with, because, we all went through it. It's a daunting process. Like, you don't want to have to go through CASPA by yourself. So that's that. But for me, I definitely enjoy trying to help and give back to other pre-PA students.
All right. Thanks, Aaron. I'm going to chime in as well, just to kind of about my experience. So I'm also first generation Mexican college graduate. I'd say non-traditional because I was kind of I had convinced myself that I was going to stick with programming and kind of stick with that, move up and work maybe for a bigger company. And I liked what I did. But I think when it comes to higher ed, all of my life, it's been basically navigating or learning how to navigate the system on your own and trying to find friends who may be more informed, or, using the internet to try to understand the steps you need to take to get where you want to go and to make sure you're on track, figure out the cost. How are you going to pay for that? I was fortunate enough to graduate from undergrad without any debt. So considering going back to school was a huge decision for me, because it was like, do I quit my job to go into debt and then, I guess kind of wait it out as a student again until there's more income coming in? It was a terrifying decision at the time, but I have no regrets in making it. Nonetheless, so basically financial, cultural barriers from my end, and still trying to, I guess, navigate this whole healthcare scene, being that I, didn't grow up in healthcare, and none of my family members did. So making the switch from a programmer to going into medicine, sometimes I get a little bit of the imposter syndrome, because it's like, do I really belong here? I've worked so much in tech, that's what I feel comfortable in, and now I'm making the switch with some of my classmates who are, I mean, they've worked in all kinds of capacities. One of my classmates is even a virologist. So here I am, a programmer having nothing to do with healthcare, and now I'm trying to make the jump in. But anyway, moving on to the next topic. Carl, do you mind sharing kind of what your role has been in helping students, and how have you helped others
for sure,
expose them
Carlos. So
into medicine?
I have several mentors, who kind of reached out to me. I was fortunate throughout the years to kind of build these relationships. I try to tell people nowadays that how important networking is. Essentially just how I met you guys through networking. And so several of them kind of assisted me throughout the process, and I learned a valuable thing about paying it forward, something I never heard before. So it's pretty much selfless service, some things that we are taught in the military, and just doing things just out the kindness of your heart, essentially. These people didn't have to do anything, for me, but they decided to. And I took that information, and now I'm like, well, how can I give back? Essentially by doing the same thing, paying it forward. You kind of get to a point in life where you realize that life is bigger than you, bigger than yourself, and it's about others and kind of like together reaching a common goal. So the purpose of like my IG and my Instagram and other projects I work on is pretty much to provide a platform and to lead by example, which is something I take pride in. I feel like I have resources and knowledge that was given to me that might have helped me. I mean, that I know have helped me, and I kind of feel obligated to pass that along. Yeah.
That's facts, bro. Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. Aaron, what about you?
Yeah, bro. So at MBKU, we have a very unique opportunity where we have a pre-PA mentorship club in which undergrad students or, gap year students can apply to be a mentee. We pair them up with a PA student to where they, have a mentor to help them through A, the process of applying, or B, if they're a few years out, like helping them guide, the way to apply and get into PA school. So for me, I was our co-president my first year. At the same time, I took on mentees that were outside of that club as well. And exactly like what Carl said, like, it's just all about paying it forward, all about, making sure everybody else is good. Last year, man, I lost count of how many pre-PA clubs I went to go, present at, to A, share my story, and B, try to answer their questions and alleviate their worries and anxiety. Because for me, this is our profession, and in the future, I want to make sure, we have high quality applicants, high quality PA students, and therefore we have high quality clinicians, right? And so for me, I want to make sure that they're good so that I know for sure our profession is going to be good, right? Me planting the seed to help them out, hopefully will in turn have them help somebody else out down the road, right? Who might end up being, I don't know, my little brother or something like that, right? So it's all about, paying it forward and helping the next generation, the next wave, as PAs have done for us and our mentors have done for us, so being able to do that is amazing. Aside from that, just trying to help as many people out as I can. And I feel like the biggest thing is other people's success around me isn't dependent on my success, or vice versa. You know what I mean? Everybody can eat. Everybody can get their shine and do well. Like so-and-so becoming a PA doesn't have a negative effect on me becoming a PA. So let's all, reach our goals together. Again, making sure our profession is good. So that's why I do what I do. And I mean, I love it, man. This year as a board member of Kappa, as the student rep, I'm looking to expand it to where, I build that bridge between PAs and PA students and pre-PAs, and vice versa, just because, again, this is the future of our profession, and we got to make sure it's a strong one.
Sure.
For sure. Sato, tell us a little bit about
Yeah.
how you're
I
involved.
want to start off by saying Carl, thank you for your service.
Thank you for your support, bro.
You know, the selfless sacrifice that, you know, our military personnel, both active and veterans, have made, you know, allow people like me, who's not even a citizen of this country, you know, to pursue dreams that I could never have dreamed of, you know, having to go back to Japan and do the same thing where I don't speak the language at an adequate level where, you know, I would be able to become a physician or a nurse or any other kind of healthcare provider. So I want to say thank you for
Thank you for your
for everything
support, bro.
that
We
you've
all
done.
play a vital role, you know.
Yes, sir. But in terms of, you know, what we do, I love how, you know, how MBKU does the kind of pre-PA mentoring. I think USC has like a pipeline program. I can't remember if it was a community college or if I was in high school, but you know, that's kind of the network that I want to be able to set up when I go back. I was just talking to my girlfriend last night about this, you know, how I want to be able to start, you know, go get a group of people, you know, whether it's dental students, whether it's, you know, PT students, physicians, nurses, RTs, PAs, obviously, various healthcare professionals, and just be able to go to a high school, you know, and not, you know, kind of go towards the lower SES high schools and let them know, hey, you know, there is a lot more to life than, you know, being where you are right now. You know, there's these various healthcare professions that you can go, you know, you can go to community college, get a degree, and work your way on up. You know, there's so many like different specialties and amazing fields out there where I feel like sometimes people might get trapped in the community that they live in. And, you know, if we can almost just create a pipeline and help people out, you know, and especially if it's something that we're passionate about, I think we can make a big difference that way. And at the same time, we're helping them out early on in their education, so we can guide them and be mentors to them, you know, things that we never had. And then the second thing is just the sheer amount of pre-PA clubs out there now. I mean, it's amazing. UCLA has one. We never had a pre-PA club when I was there 15 years ago. You know, UCLA has one. I see one at you know, Cal State, Long Beach. You got Fullerton. You got all these Cal State schools. You got UC Irvine, UCSD. You got all these California schools that have, you know, these pre-PA clubs, and you know, they're doing so much for the pre-PA community, helping people out. You know, trying to be able to be a part of that, help them out as well. Whether it's you know, doing a conference for them, just getting a group of PAs and just being able to talk to them. That would be my optimal goal once I move back home in 3-4 months.
Yeah, I think everything that you guys have said resonates and aligns with my core beliefs. I think there's something to be said for the outreach component is absolutely vital, but also being in the spaces, you know, being you know, a Japanese provider for those kids puts you, you know, as like it kind of solidifies it in their mind, like, you know, this provider looks like me. We share a culture, we share beliefs. Like, if he can do it, then I can do it too. Looking back to the providers that I saw growing up, I can probably say I saw less than 3 Latino providers in total. So I think being in those spaces, you know, having these platforms, sharing our voices, sharing our experiences is also a form of outreach. Because outreach looks, you know, it can look differently depending on the method you take. And I think each method contributes a lot to the end goal, which is to give back to our communities, help others rise up, because everybody can eat. This isn't a competition. We were helped along the way. I definitely was helped a lot, and now in turn I want to do the same thing. You know, give back.
I mean, I think you hit a really good point there. You know, of having a provider that you know, looks similar to you, or even in a better sense, speaks the same language as you, right? I mean, I'm sure you get it with a lot of the Hispanic population that even lives in North Carolina, you know, where a lot of them may not speak English, you know, to a fluency where you can have, you know, a conversation with them and be able to have them understand everything you're saying in terms of like what medications they're taking, you know, risk benefits and all that kind of stuff. And you can tell when you have that conversation with someone in their own native tongue, their face lights up differently. And I think that's, especially with the Hispanic population, we definitely need to get more Hispanic individuals out there that speak Spanish, because there is a large Hispanic population in the underserved community. Same with the black community. There's definitely a large, population out there that, really needs more, providers that can help them out, and someone that understands, culturally included, where they're coming from.
Part of the challenge is making sure that the healthcare industry reflects, our communities. And that was a big component of why I decided ultimately to go to PA school. It's if I have the opportunity to go to PA school and I'm interested in medicine and I can do, I can benefit, I can touch a lot of communities and lives, then why not do it?
Time for this episode's MRP, the Minority Rapport Pearl. These are valuable tips from the Minority Report that are relevant to this episode's topic of discussion.
All right, guys. So the Minority Report Pearls for today is networking. Okay, so that's something that, I kind of continuously say that really has kind of helped me get to where I'm at today. Sometimes they say it's not what you know, sometimes it's who you know, and, that cannot be further from the truth. There's a lot of people I've met along the way that kind of has paid it forward and gave me their knowledge, their expertise, and made it, just a little bit easier for me. And again, so that's why, we're on here today, because we want to pass our knowledge and our experiences on to you guys, So again, you want to continue to build networking, and then any of you guys have some other kind of additions to that?
Yeah, I'd say people want to help, whether it's having a conversation over a cup of coffee, jumping on a Zoom call, you have questions, you have doubts, there are people who want to help. So it's just a matter of reaching out, because there's been such a boom, especially in the PA field, and I see so many active voices on Instagram alone.
Never hesitate to reach out. The worst thing that can happen to you is the person ignores your message. There's no public shaming. There's nothing that's going to happen to you. So, reach out. Most people are nice enough to respond to you, and you never know. One connection can lead to another. It can lead to a future job or a spot in a PA program. So you never know where it can go. So take every opportunity you can get and try to forge some solid networks and some solid connections.
Yeah, absolutely. And, along the lines with that, it can be a positive thing and it can also be a negative thing. So make sure you don't burn your bridges. Make sure, you develop a good connection with people, genuine connection, and, never burn your bridges, because you never know who's reading your application, who's touring you on an interview, whatever it may be. So just always be sure to network, create your network, have a strong network with like-minded people and people who you can help and who can help you as well. So with that, network with us. Shout us out on your Instagram, shout us out on your stories. If you're listening on the podcast, go ahead and screenshot you listening to it. Tag us in your stories, and also send us whatever questions you guys might have that you want us to cover on future episodes, whatever topics you guys think that we should cover as the Minority Report. And, we appreciate you guys listening, taking the time out of your day to really listen to our stories and also try to build this network and build this community together.
My name is Carl, and you can reach me on Instagram at whitecoatblack.
My name is Carlos Cano, and you can reach me on Instagram at thefit.pa.s.
My name is Sato, and you can reach me on Instagram at hardworkpaysoff29.
My name is Aaron, and you can reach me at Aaron Anchor on Instagram, AARONANGKOR.
Tell me I can do it, I go hard. And they gon' know I did it from the start.